Stacy and I figured it out. But 2 days before he left, I said, with tears in my eyes, Joey, this has been absolutely the most wonderful experience of my life. I want you to come back. And they were going to start making an annual trip, and I want Stacy and the kids and the dogs to make it an annual trip. Their home is there in South Dakota, and they are family, and I am in shock, and I can't imagine life without Joey. He was always constant motion, the boisterous smile, the grumpy mornings, the smelly socks, but his hugs and his love and his compassion, that he's irreplaceable. And I love him.
Hi everybody, my name is Pat, and it's kind of hard for me to fly these colors because I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, except for you, Joe. I just want to touch on one aspect of Joe's circles, and that was his weekly football game, which he loved. And it was kind of a fraternity. We didn't have Greek letters on our chests, and we didn't have keggers, not that you guys know of. But there was definitely a fraternity that a lot of you guys were involved in. And Joe was a competitor, and no matter what pattern you run, he always went for the guy who was going deep. And Joey liked to chirp. And a lot of times there were some heated words out there, but it was all in fun and it was all in competition. And I'm gonna miss those days with Joe, because he'd walk up with his little Joey walk. Hey Joey, how you feeling? Okay. He'd put down those shoes, those silly little orange shoelaces, and we'd make small talk and talk about how the week went. And it was just a time for his buddies that it was magical, I guess you can say that. We, as we got older, we, got significant others, bought houses, had children. But football season was always a time for us to be little kids and play ball. And for 2.5 hours a week, we got to be little kids again and play ball. And just be Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Nitschke, Bart Starr. In our minds, that's who we were. And we're gonna miss him. It's yet to be determined what happens to our game. But as long as they play on that field, I'm gonna wear this jersey because I love Joey.
I've known Joey for at least 13 years or something like that, and I was one of those guys he hit on the long bomb. So thanks for making me look good, Joe, because you did many times. I had the distinct benefit of being Joey's, I'm being on a softball team with Joey for the last couple of years. And, I think anybody that knows him, he was a fierce competitor. And he was our third baseman. When he went on his trip to South Dakota, there was another guy that played third base while he was gone. He was really good. And when Joe came back, I had to figure out how to tell him that he wasn't going to be playing third base again. And oh God, it was like 2 days of worry, like, oh fuck, what is he going to do? Where am I going to put him? He's going to be so mad at me. So I said, Joe, this guy came in, he's really good, but we really need you out there, so maybe like Rover, like center field, I usually played center field, but I'm like, God, I'm good in center field. And so sure enough, he's like, well, you stay in center, I'll play Rover. And just made incredible play after incredible play out there, because he was just super athletic and he was good at everything he did. And part of that was just experiencing life and sharing life with everybody around him, and it was just everything that he was interested in. It was music and sports and outdoors and everything, and it wasn't like he just kept it to himself. He shared it with everybody around him, and he was just always pushing this next thing. And he was such a good advocate for living life to the fullest. And so I think that, we just have to celebrate his life and continue on and living life like Joey would. I think we're all going to do that. Right.
Hello everybody, I'm Carolyn, I'm Mom Z and I'm Grandma Z. And as my family and friends know, I don't usually do this, but I just had to say a few words about Joe. When he came into Stacy's life, he made her so happy, and we were all so happy for Stacy, and I'm so fortunate that they lived in Portland, and I have all my grandchildren, my 3 grandchildren, and we'll miss Joe forever, and we love Joe so much. And everybody's telling their funny stories, and I don't really have any funny stories. I just think Joe was wonderful, and I still see him coming to my back door when they'd come over with the kids and their heads bobbing. And I'll always remember how much he loved a leg of lamb and minestra when we'd have our Greek Easter. And I think the last one we were going to do something different, and Joe says, "You're not going to have minestra?" And I said, Dean says, "You better have minestra." So we did, and we'll just miss him forever. But the other part of this is, my mother was a very special grandma and mom. Stacy was her first grandchild, and I know my mother's up in heaven celebrating with Joe about Stacy because they share a love of Stacy. And I know Mother's loving Joe and would have loved him if she would have met him down here. So anyway, thank you, and we love you.
I'm Sarah, and I also don't usually do this. First, I just want to read this. I found this this last week. I grew up with Stacy, and I worked with Joey the last 8 years. The little space within the heart is as great as the vast universe. The heavens and the earth are there, and the sun and the moon and the stars. Fire and lightning and winds are there, and all that now is, and all that is not. And Stacy and Joey both had huge hearts, and I love them both. And I'll miss Joey, and I love you, Stacy. And working with Joey, sat in a big office in the corner, and his energy still fills our office. And everyone should know that Joey was amazing and brilliant. He was a scientist, and that's how I knew Joey, and I will miss being able to go in and ask him difficult questions and try to keep up with his answers. And he had something that he had printed off, and I can't remember exactly. I'm sure someone in the room probably can remember, that he had in his office, and it said, "Heard is not understood." And Joey would sit there and he would wait until he was certain that you understood what it was that he was trying to tell you. And sometimes it took a while for some of us because Joey was so quick and Joey knew so much. And I'm sure that we'll all hold him in our hearts and think of him often.